You're listening to the Public Health Epidemiology Careers Podcast, episode 107.
Welcome to the Public Health Epidemiology Careers Podcast, where we explore public health epidemiology careers and share tips and strategies to help you enter or transition into the field. And now, your host, Dr. Charlotte Hughes Huntley.
Greetings, everyone, and thank you for joining me on this episode. Now, in this episode, I'm going to explain the various programs that I have available to help you with your career in public health. There are several programs, and some of them I've mentioned on the podcast previously, and others I haven't mentioned yet. There are many that have been created over time, and I have really been working hard to provide these programs in a response to so many requests that have been coming across in my email, my inbox, and people have just been reaching out asking for these types of programs. So I want to explain all of them to you, explain a little bit about why I started creating these programs, and then specifically what each of the programs are. Now, before we jump into that and get started, I'd like to mention that today's show is brought to you by Audible. Audible is offering our listeners a free audiobook with a 30-day trial membership. Just go to audibletrial.com/public health, and you can browse through the unmatched selection of audio programs, download a title for free, and start listening. It's that easy. So go to audibletrial.com/public health. Okay, why did I start creating these programs? Well, because so many of you were asking for help, asking for questions, advice, help with some of these challenges in getting into the field of public health, getting through graduate school, just kind of navigating the practical, real world scenarios and situations and being able to figure out how to get into the areas in public health that you want to get involved in. And I know a lot of these questions were coming to me because I've been able to get into the type of work, exactly what I wanted to be doing. So what I'm doing now, what I've been doing for years, is the work that I set out to do at the very beginning. So people ask, how did you do this? How did you get to that point? So of course, the podcast was the first thing that was born and created. And I share the journey of many of my guests on the podcast to give you examples of the various ways you can use your degree in public health to really encourage creative thinking and to hear their feedback and to hear their advice and tips. And then from that, people were still wanting to work more closely with me, go a little bit deeper in some of these topics. So the best way for me to help was creating programs. The programs are a coaching style, and it provides me with the way to use this amazing technology that's available to us today and create, kind of share my strategy, share my tips, organize it in a program where it's sometimes a standalone where you can go through and work on it at your pace. And sometimes it's a little bit of a hybrid where we work together in some sessions and then you work on your own. But putting together these programs provide me a way to be able to reach many people. If I solely went on appointments that I was able to schedule in my calendar in hopes to match up with someone else's schedule, then I would be very limited in how many people I could help. But by creating these programs, this allows me the ability to reach many people and help many people. So that is more of the why I've created these programs. Now, let me tell you a little bit more specifically about what is available. And you may hear me clicking in the background because I'm literally going to go through my various websites to show you as I describe to you and explain to you about these programs. Now, no worries about trying to take notes right now, because if you're exercising or driving or doing something else while you listen to this episode, know that you can go to the show notes page for the links to all of the programs. And also, I'll tell you that you can access these programs also from the resources tab of the main menu. But the show notes page is probably going to be your best place to go. So let's just start with the first program, not in really any specific order. But this program is one that I have not mentioned previously on the podcast, but I'm excited to tell you about it. It is called What's Next? Oh, that's really with a question mark. So what's next? Transitioning from layoffs to new job opportunities in public health. This is a program that Dr. Elliston, Dr. Donna Elliston, I previously interviewed her on the podcast. She and I collaborated a couple of months ago on creating this program. And it was just the two of us getting together, talking about what we offer, how we work, what the biggest needs are. I asked her questions about, what types of questions, what problems were her clients reaching out to her about. Just so that Dr. Ellison is the founder of PH or Public Health Search Firm. So I've talked about her on the other episodes, but just not about this program specifically. So Dr. Ellison and I, like I said, we got together and collaborated, and she said that this is a problem that arises quite often. People will often reach out to her who have been experiencing layoffs and trying to navigate those next steps. So she and I were really happy to come together on this project and provide valuable resources for people who are navigating these challenging moments in the career, combining our education experience in a way that displays our coaching styles. We really had a lot of fun putting this program together. And it is the two of us sharing tips and strategies to help you with transitioning from layoff into new job opportunities in public health. So if you are experiencing a layoff, then this is a program that I highly recommend you exploring and checking out. If you are not personally going through that, but if you know of someone who is, it's important that you know this program is available. Because often when that moment happens, someone's experiencing layoff, it's a little bit of a chaos and a panic mode. And sometimes just having friends that are aware of a program like this existing, it can be really helpful. So the program, once again, is called What's Next? Transitioning from Layoffs to New Job Opportunities in Public Health. And it is a collaboration between myself and Dr. Donna Elliston of PH Search Firm. I will also link to that podcast episode where I interviewed her. I'll link to that in the show notes as well so that you can learn more about her. And there's also a free preview available at this time for the program. So if this is something that you are considering, or if this is your situation and you've been laid off, being able to view the preview may be something that is helpful in making a decision about the program. All right. So the next program that I will mention is Optimizing LinkedIn for Professional Networking in Public Health. I've mentioned this one several times on the podcast. There's a podcast that I specifically go into the details of this program. I'll also provide that link in the show notes in case you want to listen to that also. But Optimizing LinkedIn for Professional Networking in Public Health is a step-by-step beginner's guide to setting up, optimizing your profile, getting found by the right recruiters and professionals, and finding clients and business connections. Really growing your network on LinkedIn. It is something that I really, again, created out of a demand. People were asking a lot of questions, and I wanted to be able to share some of the success that I was experiencing on that platform. So it will really just help you create a strong profile and start growing your professional network. You'll learn what to include in each section of your LinkedIn profile, step by step. You'll learn what to say and how to approach people on LinkedIn. Learn when to put effort into networking activities on LinkedIn, and learn public health specific steps and strategies and tips for creating a strong profile and networking on LinkedIn. So that program is available to you. I'd like to read a review from one of the members of that program. This is from Larissa, and Larissa said, I genuinely enjoyed this course. I had a LinkedIn profile for quite some time, but never really knew how to use it. This course walks you through LinkedIn step by step. Dr. Huntley uses her own profile as an example, so for visual learners like myself, it was easy to see what she was talking about. Not only can you take your own notes, but PDF notes are supplied by Dr. Huntley for each section. I printed them off and used them as a guideline when making changes to my own profile. I highly recommend this course to anyone who wants to make their usage of their LinkedIn platform. I gained valuable knowledge through this course. So thank you, Larissa, for that review. And I thought that may be helpful for some of you to hear that. But that's a great program. We've got some other reviews of that program as well. So you'll be able to explore that for yourself. Let's see, the next program, which goes really well with the one that I just mentioned, the next program is Professional Networking at Public Health Conferences. Now, this program is a deep dive. It's all about strategies for easy and effective networking experience before, during, and after the conference. And I do mean deep dive. I go into deep dive strategies for, just what the conference is about, preparing for the conference, all the before, all the during, and the after. So this program is for students, graduates, professionals in public health, including business owners who are planning to attend a big or small conference, public health conference, anytime within the next 6 months. You will learn simple strategies for effective before, during, and after conference experience so that you can develop your own professional networking action plan, your game plan for your next conference. So this is, and I say 6 months, I just use that to give you some sort of framework. So if you have lead time, you can really fully utilize those before strategies. But if your conference is a month away and you need help with this, then jump in because you can still, there's time to utilize some of those before strategies. This is a program that was newly created at the time of this recording. It was recently created, but we also already have reviews of that program that was actually posted on social media. And it was also by Larissa that I just mentioned to you. I'm going to have her on the podcast soon to discuss her experience with these programs. But she was one of the first to go through and write a review of her experience. And in fact, she was about to attend a conference and she jumped into that program and really immediately put it to work. So I really liked the feedback that she provided, which is why I asked her to come on the show. So look for or be listening out for that episode pretty soon as we can get her onto the calendar. All right, let's see. Oh, I will also mention that you can bundle the Optimizing LinkedIn for Professional Networking in Public Health and Professional Networking at Public Health Conferences. They come as a bundle, so that can save you a little bit if you're wanting to get both of those programs. Okay, the next program. Now, this is moving into, I've got really 2 more programs to mention to you. And they are coaching programs and they're a membership, so an ongoing subscription-based program where you pay a monthly fee to have access to the programs. That's essentially how both of these are structured. One program is for students, currently enrolled students, and the other program is more for graduates. So I'll start with the first one for students. It's called Career Strategies for Students of Public Health. It is something that was created over the last few months. Again, this is relative to the time of this recording. And it is career coaching and guidance for students of public health. This is helping you make the most of your student journey and preparing you for transition from the classroom into the career field of public health. This program is really created, again, out of demand, a lot of questions, because the first program that I created was geared toward those who have already completed a degree and have had frustrating times facing so many challenges trying to get into the field of public health. Well, students were saying, well, what can I do to prevent from getting to that point? I don't want to be that one on the other side of my degree, struggling to get into the career field. How can you help me? I have questions. So I really held off on creating this one for a while on purpose because, well, I was so focused on the other one for the most part. But I also know that this is a very different program. It's a different thought, different mindset. And one of the biggest things I really wanted to do was help students start thinking strategically, intentionally, really owning your journey. This is your public health education. You're trying to create an opportunity to build your career, the career that you want in public health. And sometimes you don't know what that is yet. If you're a new student, you're just starting to learn about public health. And if you're right in the middle, you learned some things, but you may not have really narrowed down what you really want to do. Or you may start to have a good idea of what you don't want to do, and you may have started narrowing it down. And if you're toward the end of that student journey, then you most definitely need to start rethinking, sort of transitioning your thoughts from just, following the list and checking off the box and completing all the courses to really starting to think about what you want to do with that and kind of owning that and reshaping your questions and your thoughts, because it's not for someone else to tell you what you should do with your degree. You need to decide what you want to do with your degree. So I spent some time and I really thought about how could I help students the most? And really a lot of feedback. So many people have said to me, I wish I had this podcast when I was a student or in my strategy group. When I work with members of my strategy program, which I will tell you about in just a moment, those are the people that have already completed their degree. So often they're thinking, I wish I had done this X, Y, or Z before, like while I was a student. These are things I wish I had done as a student. And it really comes down to this sort of shift in your strategic thinking, being really intentional and shifting from the student just trying to complete and get that piece of paper to really owning that journey and deciding what you're going to do with it and being, really empowered with that kind of shift. So we really do spend a good bit of time. And it's not time consuming. That was the other thing. With the student program, I did not want something that was going to be a distraction or a big demand on your time because you're so focused on the coursework and doing what needs to be done. And I know very well what that feels like. At the same time, you can't just wait until you complete the degree to then start thinking about the career strategy. So I needed something that would really go along with that coursework and really blend into that student lifestyle and give the student an opportunity to kind of own this program and this experience as well. So I really help you begin to think more strategically about your journey as a student and learn how to ask strategic career related questions. That way you're getting better responses back. I help you you'll have access to weekly actionable strategy. So every week I release some new actionable strategy or a response to a question. And in the response to a student's question, I'm going to give these strategic tips and steps that you can apply right away. These are things that as a student, you're able to listen in, get that little tidbit each week and apply it right away. And it really will help you to start shift and shrink the gap a little bit from the time that you complete the degree to starting your career. You don't want to have this wide gap or fall into this sort of void where you're not able to move forward and you're just sort of stuck. So you also have the opportunity to join a monthly group coaching session. So if your schedule aligns with the time of the group coaching, you're able to join live where I do a little bit of teaching and then I'll leave the opportunity for some live questions if time permits and if, depending on when everyone's able to join. But if you're not able to join live, that recording is then placed in the membership site. So it's a great program for students. In fact, we have a review. Let me read that to you as well. Okay. So this is our review of career strategies for students of public health, and it's by Rennie. And she wrote, "This course was incredible. It helped me to understand how I can build a process to transition into public health as a student and after I complete my degree, and how I should frame my questions." Thank you, Rennie, for that. And as a matter of fact, I believe, if I remember correctly, Rennie is about to start her public health career journey, her Master's of Public Health at Columbia University. So congratulations. I know you may be nervous and anxious and scared right now, but it will all be amazing. It's going to fly by. So this is just a little shout out to you regarding that. So this program is, like I said, it is designed for students with help with that career strategic thinking, really intentionally thinking about your career and kind of owning that journey early on. This will help you regardless of the school you're enrolled in, regardless of the curriculum, the coursework, because your school is going to make sure that you complete the courses you need to complete, you meet all the requirements to earn the degree. What I want to do is help you to really help reduce that anxiety between the student journey into the career journey. I really want that to become a smooth transition and really helping you to pave that way and transition into the career field that you want to be in public health. Okay, so the last program that I will mention is developing your public health career strategy. This program is actually the first program that I created, and it's the last one that I will mention. This program is a career coaching program for public health degree graduates and professionals who want to enter or transition into the field of public health. And that includes starting a business. This program will help you create your strategy. So depending on where you are, what you need to do, everyone's situation is different. Everyone's, set of challenges, goals, plans, all of it is different. One of the things that we understand about public health is that the field is so broad. So sometimes because there are so many options, people get a little stuck and they're not sure about what they want to do. And that causes some challenges all by itself. Sometimes people get into a certain area and get stuck there and are just really having a difficult time transitioning into what they really want to do or what they want to do now versus what they wanted to do before. So this program really helps. It starts with gaining clarity around what you want to do, what you're passionate about, and then really looking at what opportunities align with what you're passionate about and what resources are needed, either for that career opportunity or starting the business. And then figuring out what's needed. What skills do I have? What do I need to gain? What resources do I have? What resources do I need to obtain? And then, networking, looking at your networking. That is so important across. It doesn't matter if you're the earliest student or the seasoned senior, your professional networking is essential. It is important. I will say that forever. So we talk about the networking aspect because as you're developing your strategy, depending on whether you're targeting a certain career or you're targeting building a business, how you're going to approach your networking is important. And it will look different depending on what you want to do. So we put all of that together and organize it so that you have your strategy, you have your game plan, and it's customized to you. It's fitting your passions for public health, what you want to do, what you want to accomplish. And then we go through a process of if you've decided that it is a business, we may add a few more layers on there to help you with business building and business planning. I'm not going into this in-depth, business plan, but essentially what you need. Because before you can really move forward, you've got to become clear about what you want and focus on what you want and what will it take to get you there. You get all of that together, you have your strategy, your game plan. So that's what this program helps you create. This program is for graduates. So if you've already completed your degree, the student program is for currently enrolled students. Now, there is an exception. In this strategy program, developing your public health career strategy, sometimes I have students, they're currently enrolled in a master's of public health or finishing up their doctorate. However, they may already have completed another degree. So this is something where they're intentionally completing their master's of public health or their PhD in public health or their Dr. PH, and it's helping them move into the next level. I'll give you a few examples. I have a few members of this program who have a PharmD and an MBA and an MPH. And I have one in particular who enrolled in my strategy program as he was finishing his master's of public health, but he was already a medical doctor and had an MBA. So he didn't need to be in a student program where he was really starting from scratch. He was a perfect fit for the strategy program because he knew he had some ideas about what he wanted to do, but he really needed the guidance along that journey to really develop his strategy for next steps. So if this is something that is your public health degree, you're enrolled in the program. I also had a student who was enrolled in the program who was finishing her master's of public health. Now, she did not have an additional degree, a professional level. She had a bachelor, completed a bachelor's, and she had already gone through the frustrating cycle of completing that bachelor's and then having a hard time moving into what she wanted to do. And really her ideas and thoughts were just everywhere, kind of scattered. And she was at the point of her master's of public health where she was just starting the practicum. And she really wanted to make the most of that experience and really have her strategy aligned so she could gain her focus and get ready to move into her career. She didn't want to finish her master's and be the way she was when she finished the bachelor's and feel so disconnected and kind of all over the place. So this program was perfect for her. She really needed that focus and clarity, and that's what the program helped her to do. So there are a few exceptions in terms of being a student, but for the most part, students should be involved in the student program because I'm going to help reinforce what is available as a student and get that strategic thinking really pulled together. But for some people who know they want to start a business, they know they want to transition, they know what they want to do, and they're finishing up their public health degree and they just need some help. They're already clear about that. They know they need help with that strategy, the game plan. Then this is the best option. So I have covered a lot. There are several programs as I have gone through. Just to recap, I have What's Next, transitioning from layoffs to new job opportunities in public health. We have Optimizing LinkedIn for professional networking in public health. We have Professional networking at public health conferences. And we have Career strategies for students of public health and developing your public health career strategy. Now, all of these programs are available at different times, and some of them are available always, and some of them have open enrollment cycles. But to find out about these programs, you can visit the show notes page for this episode. This is episode 107. So visit drchuntley.com, and once you're there, click on podcast from the main menu, and then just navigate to episode 107, and you'll find all the links that I mentioned in the show notes page for this episode. You can also access the programs by visiting the resources tab from the main menu as well. All right, everyone. I hope this has been helpful. Until next time, have a fantastic rest of your day.
Thank you for listening to the Public Health Epidemiology Careers Podcast at drchuntley.com.